Welcome to WebStarters. In this tutorial, we will learn how to get user location in JavaScript along with few really interesting concepts. In this HTML document, Bootstrap is linked for basic styling. At the end, we have app.js file for scripts. This is HTML that we need. It's got an input field with class IP, a button with class Go, a div with class output, IP Go output. And this is what we've got. IP Go output. These classes will be used to target these elements. We'll select the elements, inject data in these, get value from input, and we'll do stuff like that. So idea is to populate IP address of visitor on page load in input field. Then on click of button, we will get the geolocation from IP or location information of user from IP address. To do that, we go to app.js file. But remember these classes IP, Go, output. First, let me show you what will be used. You don't need API key for this. We'll use ipfi, ipfi.org to get the IP address. These three URLs are kind of same. Don't get confused here. api.ipfi.org, api64.ipfi.org, api64.ipfi.org, question mark format JSON. So these are from ipfi. API URL that includes 64 is used to indicate that it's geared towards IPv6 support. Nothing more than that. Also, from ipfi, we can get IP address in text format or JSON format. This URL will provide IP address in JSON format, and these two URLs in text format from ipfi. So this is clear, right? This is kind of same API. So this is one API to get the IP address. Key point here is we are getting IP address of visitor from ipfi. Next is IP API that will take IP address and provide visitors location information. It will take IP address at the end and will provide geolocation or location information of visitor. Simple. So to do that, this is a check to see if DOM is loaded, DOM content loaded. After that, we will try to get the IP, but not in here. In here, we will invoke that function that gets the IP, like this invoke IP address function. Now, outside this event listener, DOM content loaded, we will declare this function. It will get IP address and display inside input here. Inside this function, use try catch. And by the way, we declared this function asynchronously. So inside try, use fetch with await and store this JSON response in this variable called data. Let's see what have we got inside data. We've got object, inside we've got IP and its value. IP is key and this is its value. So now we can get this IP address and display it here inside input as its value. So the class here for the input is IP. So document.querySelector IP dot value data dot IP save, and we've got the IP address inside input field. So when DOM will be loaded, invoke this function, and this function is using fetch to retrieve data from this URL in JSON format. So if response was in JSON format, this is the method. But what if the response is in text format? Let's comment this. if response is in text format, like this. Now we're going to use format JSON. Then we will replace this JSON with the text. Fetch the URL and store this text response in data. And now we will display this data directly inside input field, not data.ip, because now see we have got the text, not the JSON. So this is how these two differ from each other. Otherwise, they are from same provider, IP5. Right? So for simplicity, let's use this. Okay. Now we have got the IP address. What to do next? Now we have to handle button click event. So inside document content loaded, after we've got the IP address, add another event listener, click event listener for the button with class go. Inside this event listener, get IP address value from input, user IP document.querySelector.ip.value. IP is class here for the input field. So we've got the IP address value in user IP variable. Then we will invoke a function and pass IP address value to it. This is the new function that we will create, and this is the value that is being passed. IP address is being passed to this function. Now we have to initialize this function here. Outside DOM content loaded event listener and this click event listener. This is the function, a synchronous function that takes IP as an argument. This function, right? Use try catch block. Inside try, second API will be used. Use fetch and append IP address to the API URL. This is the second API URL. And here we appended this IP address that is being passed here from here to this function. And we are storing response in data variable. Let's see what are we receiving. So this is the IP address. Click add button and here is the response. Okay, we've got the city, country, country code, ISP, and this is masked. This is not my actual location because of privacy reasons. So anyways, we've got city, country, country code, ISP, longitude, latitude, region name, and more, even time zone and zip information. So all of this is inside data. So we can retrieve this information by using data.city, data.country, data.country code, data.isp, like this. From data object, we can get this information. So let's build this information like this. Geolocation data. This is just the text, country, region, city, zip, latitude, longitude, time zone, ISP, organization, AS, and IP address. And these are the values from data, country, data.country code, data.region name, data.region, data.city, like that. So from data, we are extracting these values and we are using template literal here to build this whole thing and storing it in variable called output. Now all we have to do is to inject this output in the div with class output in HTML. And so after this, here it is. Document.querySelector output, select the div with class output and .inner.html, inject this whole thing. So this is the IP address, click the button and here is the information. Country, region, city, zip, latitude, longitude, time zone, ISP, organization, AS and IP address. Amazing, right? So we are receiving IP address, we are receiving user or visitors location information without any API key in vanilla JavaScript. And by the way, if we don't want to use data dot something, data dot other thing, you can destructure JSON response. This is the JSON response that we are storing in data. Then we are using data dot country code, data dot region name. If you want to remove this text data, you can do so like this. You can destructure this response, await response JSON, and you can use these variables directly to extract respective values from this object without using data. Now, if you use this, you can skip this data. You can just remove this data dot and data dot from everywhere. Just for your information. Okay, so here's the result. We have got visitors location information containing everything. Very useful information. And this is how easy it is to get the IP and from IP user location information in JavaScript. Do you want to see this example in React.js as well? Let me know in comments. Do you have a better way to do it? Let me know in comments. Do you want a similar or a related tutorial? Let me know in comments. Okay, I hope it helped. Like, share, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.